Alright, next up we have Tristan Niemi, thank you. Tristan is a playwright, poet, performer, and tarot card reader. They view the majority of their work as literary transmutations of intense feelings and lived experiences. But some projects can also be a way to bring more abstract ideas from the murky and distant into the crystalline and accessible for readers. Tristan finds they're simply incapable of creating work that isn't emotionally raw and messy, though they pride themselves on ensuring that each mess is carefully configured in the shape of a sword. Please welcome Tristan.
Hello everyone. Before I get started, I'd just like to give a brief content warning. This piece I'm about to read, it very heavily implies sexual assault and gender-based violence. It is called Rumour. I told Isla. She was my best friend, so I trusted her to keep it to herself. I mean, she tells her dads everything, but you'd hope that she'd know not to tell them this. One of them's a hairdresser, for shit's sake, cannot keep anything to himself. And besides, it's not the kind of thing you tell people about. It's too embarrassing, too shameful. I probably should have told her not to tell them, just to be certain. Actually, I just shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place. That's bullshit. Those guys shouldn't have done what they did. Period. I heard it from my hairdresser. He said his daughter told him. He said he wasn't surprised, which, I found surprising. No joke, he was fully unbothered. Said he'd heard things like this before, and I suppose he would hear most things. His husband was furious, but contacted the P&F and all that. He's what my kids would call an eat the rich type, so that makes sense. I didn't really know what to think. Hope the school takes care of it. My son goes there, and I know he would never do that sort of thing. At least, I hope he wouldn't. If I raised him right, I know he wouldn't even think of it. That poor girl. Nobody deserves that. I told my girlfriends at brunch the next day. They'll probably tell their husbands. I heard it from a concerned parent. He said he heard it from his daughter. He left the names out because of how things like this spread, especially in a shithole town like this one. But apparently he told the principal exactly who it happened to and who did it. Honestly, I don't know if I want to know. On one hand, I'm a receptionist here and we're depended on to have all the tea. On the other, I don't want to be able to put names or faces to such a fucked situation. It would make the whole thing too real. I'm shook enough as it is. I told the other receptionist. We agreed to keep it to ourselves. The school will deal with it. I heard it from my wife. She said one of her brunch friends told her. Shit like this has happened before. It's only really at that school, though. I thought they would have gotten it under control by now, but I guess not. Don't take my lack of surprise as a sign of me not caring. It's absolutely munted what happened. It just isn't too shocking, you know? At the very least, you'd think people would be raising their sons better. I don't have any myself, but I would never let shit like that fly while he's living under my roof. Women aren't playthings. They're people. I know that's probably obvious, but I think it's important more men say stuff like that. I told one of my mates from high school. We went there, so it was something to talk about. He'll probably tell his cat. He doesn't have many mates besides me. I heard it from my human. He said someone from school told him. He really seemed passionate about it, whatever it was. It must have been serious. I was watching a spider eat a fly at the time. Needless to say, that was more important. He was really upset, though. The spider was having his fun, I'd be having mine soon enough. I hadn't seen him that mad since I gave him that dead bird for his birthday. Quite rude of him, actually, to reject that gift after I put so much effort into getting it for him. I think he said something about the same thing happening to his mum. I don't care enough to tell anyone. My human will probably tell someone else, though. I heard it from my girlfriend. She said her co-worker told her. She was supposed to keep it to herself, let the school deal with it. But Bay and I don't keep things from each other. It poisons the relationship. Any relationship. You have to lie around the secret, and even though you're doing it for the right reasons, it makes lying about other things easier. It's horrible what happened. I can't even imagine how I would feel if the same shit happened to me. I told my little sister. She goes to that school, and I was curious if she knew anything more about it. She'll probably tell her friends. I heard it from my son. He said he heard it from an old friend from school. He doesn't have many friends, but he has me, and he says that's enough. I do worry, though, that he'll become one of those incels I've heard all about. I work with a lot of young people, and they have the wildest slang these days. When I heard about it, I was disappointed for sure, but not shocked. The same thing happened to me when I went to school there, actually. Must have become a tradition of sorts. Might see if I can figure out who she is and reach out to her. Make sure she's right. I mean, of course, she isn't, but it might be easier for her knowing she isn't alone. I told one of my work friends. They go to that school, and I wanted to make sure they stayed safe. They'll hopefully tell their friends. I heard it from my best friend. She said her older sister told her. It's an absolutely mental story, truly gutted. If it's true, then we need to figure out who did it and fuck their shit all the way up. It's what they deserve. Killing all men seems more and more appealing every day. What makes a person do something like that? How can you not realize how fucked it is? Probably a bunch of simps circle jerking to Dungeons and Dinosaurs, whatever the fuck it is they do. I hope the girl's doing okay, though. She must be really going through it. I told my friends. They need to know. And we need to find out who did this. They'll probably tell everyone else at school. I heard it from Hunter. They said they'd heard it from some old lady they work with. They told me, and I died. Isla had told someone. She was the only one that knew, or at least she was. Hunter said the same thing happened to that lady when she went here, how if she found out they have no clue. 100 people have probably heard it by now. How many of them know it's me they're talking about? Hunter doesn't, so maybe Isla left the names out of it. This is so fucked. I hate it here. There was an announcement over the intercom. I died again. The counselor wants to see me. This can't be a coincidence. I know that, and so does everyone else. The end of the hallway is getting closer, but all I feel is numbness. I'm not exactly sure how I'm managing to walk right now. Eyes are on me. All the eyes. Like those black blobs from that one scene in The Incredibles. Some are judging. Some are pity-filled, and the rest are dawning with realization. This is why I only told Isla. This is why I'll never tell her anything, ever again.